guys, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. This is another swatch ink with me, continuing on my kind of color wheel, color theory series that I've been doing. This was the last one we did. This was the tertiary colors. So you've got your magentas, your violets, your teals in there. And the next set, which I'm going to do across 4 videos, is when you look at the color wheel overall. So if you kind of added those 3 in together, and I can't pronounce it, I think it's I think it's like a version of the word analog, but I'm not sure. Basically, you look at the three colors next to each other on the wheel, but you kind of have to imagine that all of those 3 are merged in together. So I'm not going to do this one in a wheel. I thought I'd kind of just go 3 down the page. Only swatching 3 inks, so the video may be on a shorter side, but I think it's going to be too much to do 2 sets in one, but we'll see how we go. I can always edit and put those videos in together. So today we're starting with the greens, and the way it works in the color wheel is teal, green, light green. What I'm going to do for these next few videos as well is it's not all going to be new ink. So for this one, I've picked out teal, so I'm going to swatch the teal that we used, but then I'm using a different green and a different light green. It might not always be the first, but just to have some kind of continuation through it, that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I thought just doing the 3 that we've already done would be kind of a bit too boring. So I thought that was a bit of a happy medium. So I think no need to ramble anymore. Let's just jump into it. And in really positive news, I found my blunt tip syringe. So starting off with teal. Teal is quite limited for me because I really don't have many. This is the one we did use in that video last time, which is Blackstone's Sydney Harbour Blue. To me, this is very much a teal ink, and I guess the disclosure part of it is it does have a red sheen, which could, I guess, change the views on how it interacts or looks next to those other colors, you know, once it's dry, but I think that that's okay. So I don't know if I spaced that out very well, but alas. And I just keep trying to not overthink it, just smudge around. I'm actually not really drawn to this color. I'm slowly learning to like blues, but this kind of teal with a really heavy sheen is just not something I can see myself inking up. People are probably cursing me for that because I don't know, Blackstone doesn't exist anymore, and this was quite a well-loved colour, but there's no need being dishonest, is there? So that's that one. It's a pretty dark colour, and you can see the thickness of it just from how it sticks to that bag there. And even though I don't see myself using it to ink up, I like keeping some colours in my stash that I'm not drawn to, because for things like this, I just got it all over me to be able to kind of compare and contrast. I think that's always a nice thing to do. It's a thick ink, like it is just gone all over my hands. It's gone all, it took ages, to get off my little paper towel there. So there is, I was about to say it's a chunky ink, and I don't know if that's going to make sense, but it does in my head. So that's our first one. Just make sure I put lids back on everything. Well, and then there's inks that I kind of think are teal. Like I always thought Diamine Twilight was teal, but then I look at it again kind of next to something like this, or next to like really true greens, and I'm like, that's not teal at all. That's a blue. It's the teal color is one that I think I can change my mind on 1,000 times a day, whether what's teal, what isn't. I think I have mentioned before, Leanne Likes has a great video kind of doing teal comparisons and just talking about teal, what is aqua, you know, in terms of the leaning blue, leaning green type thing. If you haven't seen that, I'd go through her YouTube feed and have a look at that one. I don't know, it just looks so blue to me, but it is really, teal was quite limited for me, so it's really all I had. You know, maybe it's not the best comparison, but you win some, you lose some. For green, I've chosen Diamine Salamander. So let's just jump in there. Because we have green and dark green, I tried to choose like for green one that was sorry, because we have green and light green, I should say. I tried to use one that was a bit on the darker side so that there would be a strong, I guess, difference or between that and then the next one. I can't believe I just got ink all over me. And I think I don't mind if there's a little bit of crossover. I actually think that could be a bit interesting, but I didn't bring that up high enough. So I might have to come back to that. I do like diamine ink. I think it's just reliable, you know, and it doesn't break the bank, which is also really nice. Maybe I need to put more down. It's a bit gappy there, isn't it? Yeah, I think I need to put more ink down actually. Well, I'll know that for next time. Maybe we can do a little bit of like a bleed in up there. So that is, for me, like that is a true green. When it first goes down, it doesn't straight away jump out as leaning blue or leaning brown. It just really looks green to me. I'd say it's on the cooler side, whether you'd call that a forest green or something like that. I think it's really lovely. I am yet to put this in a pen, but I've said in videos before, I've had an interesting relationship with greens. I thought I would love them, and I've actually really struggled finding ones I like. That is one I can definitely see myself inking up. I like the characteristics of it. Straight away, what jumps out to me is it just makes this look so blue. That's all I see. that blackstone doesn't look teal at all. It does look blue. But you know, in terms of, I know it has the word blue in the title, but Sydney Harbour, like that kind of sea vibe to it, is why I think, you know, it does have those kind of somewhat teal characteristics. It also, and I hope it's coming through on the camera, but it makes this one look a lot warmer, in my opinion, and I don't know if that's now because that red sheen's starting to come through as it dries, but there's a coolness to this that's really, for me, uplifting the warmer tones in the first one. I think maybe you're getting some little bits of halo that kind of lean a little bit brown, but it is, it's subtle, I think, overall, this ink, which is nice. Finally, for our light green, and I'm definitely not going to pronounce this properly. It's a Kobe ink. It's Kobe Mwatagoa Lime. This was an ink sample given to me from pen friend Abby, and of all the samples she sent, this is actually the only one that leaked, but there's still a little bit in there. Sorry, just having some water, which is awesome because we get to swatch it. But I am sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. So I'll just grab my syringe. I think I might need to lift that up a little bit. And again, what I haven't done is leave myself room to write in what they are. Straight away, this ink feels wetter, even just in terms of like how it's coming out of the syringe, and how it fell on the page there. It just felt a bit different to especially the first one. It's a punchy ink. Look at that. You can even just see through the snap lock bag the vibrancy of that ink. And I guess what is maybe better in terms of looking at lighter greens compared to the emotional olive in that previous one is I don't think this really leans olive. I think it is leaning green. Wow. Look at the vibrancy of that ink. It's definitely a wetter ink, and you can just see it's a lot more dotty on there, which is a telltale sign for me. I thought maybe I could get a few some little dots somewhere. Wow. So the way I want to describe that is like a grass green, I guess. It's vibrant. It's got hints of yellow in there. I'm super excited to see how these like dark bits down here dry, because I think that could come up really beautifully, and I wonder in the right pen, looking at the dark to light, if you could get some really beautiful shading. I just want to see like where it is drying already. There's not lots of shading popping up, but That's a really, this is one of those inks that like I probably wouldn't go for, but then I swatch it and I go, why not? It's beautiful. Straight away, I really do think it's reminding me of Old Gold Grun, but that being said, I think it's greener. I reckon if we looked at Old Gold Grun next to it, would that look a bit browner, like, or more on the olive side actually? So I don't know if that means this has more yellow in it. I don't, because wouldn't, like, yellow is quite related to brown in that sense, but there is something in that that's got a vibrancy which is really, really beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write in what the ink names are, and then I'll do a bit of a close-up for you and hopefully not get ink everywhere. So down the bottom we had Kobe, or Kobe I think, Mwa To Gawa Lime. So that was our light green for this three next to each other on the wheel. In the middle we had Diamine Salamander. And you know what, looking at it, this, I can see the blues and greys in it more having put this green down. That, and then up the top just looks super blue, but it's funny how it just changes, doesn't it, depending on what it's next to. And then I'll just write up in here, this is Blackstone, Sydney Harbour Blue. Awesome. I'm going to bring this up close for you. It's amazing how different the salamander looks, kind of sandwiched in between. It actually, yeah, I can just see so much more grey in it than when I didn't have this one down the bottom. But up the top is Blackstone, Sydney Harbour Blue. In the middle, Diamine Salamander, and Kobe ink, Mwatagoa Lime. Awesome. I'm gonna end this video here. I think I will maybe put two together. So with the power of editing, I'll see you in a moment for our next set of three, which is going to be yellow, dark yellow, and orange. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you. Well, I'll see you in a sec. Bye. I'm back. The next set of three is yellow, orange, and dark orange. I looked everywhere for my Birmingham Pen Company Banana Slugs. I wanted to use that as yellow and I cannot find it, so I must have finished the sample, but that is totally fine. The one that I'm carrying over is going to be Birmingham Pen Company's Solar Storm. I actually originally used this for yellow, but it does really lean orange for me, so I'm going to put that in the middle as orange. Pardon me, and my yellow is not really a true yellow, but it turns out I don't really have yellow inks. So let's jump into it. For yellow, I'm going to use Diamine Cult Pen's Sand Between Your Toes. So this was an exclusive with Cult Pens from the pardon me, from their summer series. I was lucky enough to get sent a few of the summer series samples from my pen friend H. They are really beautiful colors. What I do notice though is that the inks are definitely on the drier side. They're also quite light and not as saturated, and whether that's the relationship or not. So I just have to really think about what pen or pens I'm putting any of these inks into. Put my swatch in there before I forget or go any further. All right, let's start. Definitely spreads around the page nicely though, so it's not the kind of one of those thick ones like before. So this is what I'm using for yellow today. I think it does have a yellow in it. It definitely does lean brown. I do understand that, but I don't actually, I can't think of any inks that are true yellow inks. It's not really something, part of me, that I've explored. The thing that I noticed straight away is almost how it kind of has like it makes the page almost translucent, like it almost like when oil hits a paper bag, it kind of has that vibe for it to me. I think I would definitely I really need to think carefully about the, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat, about the pen that I put this in, because it is very much on the lighter side. And I think in a few of my pens, it just really wouldn't be legible. But aside from that, I think it has a characteristic to it, and I can definitely see that kind of beach aesthetic, or what it's trying to evoke. I can very much see that. That was my last sip of water, so hopefully this frog disappears. I think it's going to be really interesting then to see what it looks like next to the Birmingham Pen Company Solar Storm that we put down. I wonder if it's actually going to make it look really cold, and I don't know if it's going to make it look more brown, or if maybe some of the greens will pop out, because this is a really beautiful color, but it's of a very different kind of vibe. I think of all the inks that I've swatched, and putting the drops on the page, how this ink looks in its droplet form, I reckon is my favorite. And I just want to see, I don't want to take too long because it can kind of set, but I'm hoping you can kind of see the vibrancy of it. All right, back in frame. Okay, let's go quick, because otherwise it can kind of set on the page and you kind of are left with this little circular ring, which I don't really want. I don't think it looks very nice. And I did it again where I haven't thought at all about leaving myself space for where I'm going to write in the names. So maybe we think about that in a second. What is it making me think? It's actually bringing out the grey in sand between your toes for me, which is not what I was expecting. And I don't know why, but I thought next to that first ink, this one would look punchier. And it doesn't. It definitely looks orange. But I think maybe what I said, so it's not bringing out the greens. I think it is definitely bringing out much more of the brown in that first diamine ink. Pardon me. Oh, I need some more water, I think. I hope it's picking up on the camera what I'm talking about. Can you see now that it's dried, there's that kind of browny grey type thing coming through? It's an interesting characteristic of the ink. It almost makes it look a bit dirty. I don't entirely know if I like it. I'm not sure. The jury's still out on that one. So that was my orange. Pardon me. For my dark orange, I'm using Colourverse Martian, which I think is actually what I wanted to use originally for my orange, and I couldn't find it. You'll know where it was. I'd put it to the side in a completely different box because I went, oh, that'd be good to use for orange when I get around to that video, and then totally forgot about it, as you do. So I'll just quickly clean my syringe. So I don't remember if I said this in the first video, but there'll be 4 of these, the 3 next to each other type videos. So I hope maybe there'll be 2 because I'm doing these 2 together, and maybe I'll do the next 2 together as well. And then I'm going to do a couple around kind of like contrasting and like split contrasting and things like that. So last but not least is our dark orange. This ink, when I first swatched it, I was like, not sure if it's for me. And then once I went back to it, once it had dried, I fell in love with it quite a bit. I think it's a really cool ink. This was also given to me from my pen friend, Abby, which is really cool. No idea why I went up so high then at the end. All right, try and leave myself some space to write in some names. Oh, even look at that, just the richness of that color, I just reckon is awesome. I just didn't appreciate it the first time. I don't know why, I just didn't appreciate it. And every time I've looked at it since, I'm like, what? I don't know what I was missing. And I think through the Snaplock bag, you can actually see the reds in it quite a bit. And I think we will lose that a little bit when we come up. But look at that color. It's a vibrancy that I don't like super vibrant inks. I can find them a bit overpowering, but the depth of this ink, I just think it's like, you know what, I'd grab a drink with this ink. I think it would have a great personality. It wouldn't be overbearing. It'd have some stories though. I think the ink would have a good sense of humor. Yes, I'm talking about dating and ink, but you know, that's where we find ourselves. I don't know, I just really love it. What does it make me see? It's just reinforcing kind of what I said with this middle one. I'm just making sure I'm still in the frame. It just makes this look so browny gray, and then that's just bringing out the orange in there. I'm going to not write in the colors right now, because when I did it the first time I got ink everywhere, but I will leave it here. So that was our first set of 3. We had our teal, green and light green, and then this is our second, which is yellow, orange and light and dark orange. So wow, it just looks so brown, and you can see that grey coming through on the camera. I mean, even on the camera, it actually looks a lot more green. And then in the middle, Solar Storm from Birmingham Pen Company, and then this really beautiful deep dark orange, which is Martian from Colorverse. And when it dries, you just get some beautiful dark patches in there. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're enjoying this kind of exploration series that I'm doing. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you have a yellow ink that's worth trying out, because I obviously don't know of any. If you could hit like and subscribe, that'd be awesome, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.